to another edition of Let's Discuss It. I want to sincerely apologize for coming late this evening due to technical issues. Tonight, I have with me in the studio our guests as usual. This evening, I have with me Mr. Shehu Oduwole. You're welcome this evening.
Good evening, viewers.
And also, I have with me Mr. Joshua Bolaji. You are welcome.
Good day, viewers.
Yeah. Once again, my name is Wale Agboola. Tonight we are going to be discussing the very important issues that affect us and affect every aspect of our lives and which determine a lot of things in our day-to-day activities. I want you to understand that uh, our governance, the competence that determine our choice of leader in governance is very important in the kind of government we have. And this evening we are going to be discussing the competence that determine the kind of leaders we have. And I want you to understand this. This program is to educate the electorate. This program is to educate the masses. This program is not to criticize government, but it's to educate you on what you need to know and to give you information about politics, about beliefs, and about governance. And so I want you to follow us on YouTube, Wale Agboola 24, and you can share it and also hear your opinion, share your comments, and we are going to bring it live. Thank you for coming once again, Mr. Shew and Mr. Bolaji.
Good evening.
You're welcome.
Today we are discussing education, leadership, belief, and governance. And I want us to discuss what competence do we actually require in choosing leaders. And I want us to also examine all leaders or political leaders throughout the presidents that have led us since 1999 and know which one is Mr. Bolaji, which competence do you think is required in choosing a leader? Is it education? Is it leadership skill? Is it belief or governance experience?
Well, thank you, Sam. I will say that everything should work in pari passu. Two, if it is education that should be responsible for choosing a leader, then the professors in this nation should be the one in the forefront of our political system. Even globally, professors should be taking over. But unfortunately, reverse is the case. Now, if it is only leadership skill, then I want to say that the motivational speakers should be the one governing us. Now, if it is belief, then it is the pastors
imams and co.
that should be at the helms of affair. But and if it is all these should come together to make the best of leadership. There is no leader that has a good skill of leadership without having an undertone of qualified certificate, meaning that if it has gone through the four walls of a responsible and recognized institution of learning, no matter how small. Now, the other thing is the someone that must lead must also be someone that people believed in, not someone that will come and sell fake integrity. Someone that people actually knows that he has done it before and he can do it again. If you look at what brought Buhari into government again.
Before you go into that, let me seek for Mr. Shew's opinion. What competence should the electorate look for in choosing a leader? Is it the academic qualification, the leadership skill? Is it the experience in governance, or just believe? Maybe even let's say believe religion and the belief people have. What's competence?
When we want to seek for a job opportunity somewhere, let me use the example of maybe there's a position, a vacancy in total Nigeria.
Yeah.
I think there should be some prerequisite qualifications that I would give to them. They will peruse over it, they will see it, and they will check if I am fit to take this job or not. I think leadership should be seen in that aspect, whereby people that has had experience in administrative, in in governance, in finance, in um, even up to the belief system also.
Okay.
People that have been tested either way or the other should be given opportunity. Are you getting me?
All right.
What I'm saying in essence is that a leader should have all of this quality embedded in him. He must have probity. He shouldn't be someone that can steal money or can allow people to embezzle funds and he'll look away. A leader should be someone that believes in God. And you cannot believe in God and say you love God and you are suffering the people you are leading. Because if you can love God whom you are not seeing, and you are punishing or you are not giving dividends of leadership to the human being you are seeing, I think you don't love God. You are not even seeing that God. But the human being you are seeing is an image of God. They should see that those benefits from you. They will not assume that you are a believer of the Almighty. A leader should have been a person that has gone through the force of university. Some people perhaps might not even go to, and leadership it has stages. We have from local government to councillor to president. A leader must not be that he has really gone to university or been a professor, but even at your own level, but at least he should be able to write or read, not necessarily in English even. Most people believe that it's only when you can speak English that you are qualified. But we have so many people that can read and write, but yet they don't even have good leadership skills. But someone can even speak vernacular. Speaking is Yoruba. He can write the Yoruba. He can write the Hausa or Igbo. Doesn't mean he's not learned. He's learned because he can read and write it.
Oh, okay.
You understand?
All right. I want us to actually look into the Nigerian government since 1999, the democratic government, and let's see from the time of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, what actually can you see that characterize the government of Olusegun Obasanjo? Now, also from my own opinion, and I want us to discuss it. Leadership was a major competence in the era of the former President Olusegun Obasanjo. And when it gets to the time of Yaradua and Jonathan, you discover that the education is there. That I think they were the first set of graduates, the first graduates. Then from there to Muhammadu Buhari, and this Muhammadu Buhari is actually believed. That's what many people believe, that he's going to fight corruption. He has the integrity, and so I want us to examine. Let's discuss this government. What do you? How can you describe all these things?
Thank you, sir. The time of President Olusegun Obasanjo, due to the fact that he had this military training, he is actually an expertise when it comes to leadership.
Because he had military training.
Yes, he has an excellent skill.
What about the president now?
He has an excellent skill in administration. That's Obasanjo for you.
Okay.
But one thing that belittles him is that he wants things to be done to favor only him. So every other horse of another person can be God, but his own horse must not be God. He is always right the moment it comes to him. That's a failure in his government. But talking about expertise, he made us understand the fact that things must be done the right way.
Was he able to take advantage of education?
The only place where he mixed it was in the power sector, where he's putting a barrister, someone that is supposed to be the Attorney General of the nation. That's a person of Bola Ige, putting him in power.
I think he corrected that.
He later corrected that, but I didn't think Bola Ige spent 3 months before he was assassinated.
What do you think about that?
Well, let me say this. I think if I want to, let me adjoin them together. Obasanjo, Yaradua, Jonathan, Buhari. They have not really given us the kind of government we want. They have not really given us the type of dividends we want in democracy. Having enjoyed in the past best government, we expected them to come in and give us a better standard of living than the one they had enjoyed. But what we are seeing now, we are even living in a substandard level, and that is so bad. So if I want to score the four of them together, I will still juxtapose them. If I want to score the four of them together in the administrative, all of them have not really done so woefully. Either way, each of them have done something we can give kudos to them for. But if I want to score them, I think they have performed below
Okay.
40%.
25%.
I give them 40%.
Let's discuss from this perspective.
Yes.
Now, their choice, the cabinet, the ministers. Now, Obasanjo, Jonathan, Yaradua, Jonathan, and Buhari. What competence can you say in their cabinet?
Yes, let me take that question. I think during Chief Olusegun Obasanjo's time, we witnessed a lot of technocrats in the government. They did not select all of those ones, aside the ministers. Ministers have been selected per state,
Yeah.
But even as at that, there are other agencies that technocrats were chosen. They brought some from abroad. We have Ms. Okonjo-Iweala. We have El-Rufai, Charles. They brought them from big place and giving them that freedom to, and there was nothing like nepotism, as we are witnessing in the present time, whereby you have over 200 agencies, and all of them are from a section of the country. In Obasanjo time, it was a balanced system. The head of the Secretary of Federal Government for 8 years was a man from Akwa Ibom State, Chief Ufotekaiti. For 8 years, it was not compulsory that you come from his own place. Even up to this,
Federal character was
federal
seriously
character was
followed.
balanced. It was strictly followed. Just as he said before, he followed due process. And these ones that are here now were among the biggest castigators of that regime. But here we are, they are not even doing half of what Chief Obasanjo did. Now, coming out with Yaradua would have done the same thing this guy did if he had stayed long. You have seen it. Because when he came to, he brought this, it was like they were feeling as if the power was for a particular section. So when Obasanjo came, there are some juicy position. They felt it was taken away from them. And when he want to come for second tenure, I remember we read, they were telling him, this one, you should be for them. If not, they are not going to vote for him. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
But having said all of that, if you check time of Goodluck Jonathan again, he also was trying to do the bidding of the northern oligarchy, the northern allies, trying to satisfy them and even ostracize the western state. All of this, you don't do that as a government. When OBJ was there, he brought all the components together. Let me tell you, the biggest antagonist of Chief Olusegun Obasanjo were his own kingsmen also.
Yes, were the
because some of them have seen that this power is not being wielded by him, and is doing nationalists. He's doing one Nigeria.
Yes.
Are you getting
it? Serious nationalists.
They came out from a kangaroo regime of Sani Abacha and IBB like that.
Yeah.
So they saw the way those guys had been placing people from their own region in things, and they are trying to subvert other tribes. So when Obasanjo came, it was not that. So they were pained. That is why I said that Yoruba people, many of them up to now, they see insult. Not because Obasanjo did not do it, but because he never single-handedly pick one person from the tribe. I tell you, the PA to Obasanjo, in fact, during his regime, if you cannot see Ifeanyi Uba, you cannot see Obasanjo. He's an Igbo man.
Is that a characteristic of a good leader?
Yeah,
Leadership.
because he's open.
Non-partiality.
He's not partial. He's open. You cannot say as a Yoruba man that you can work there, you get, or you go and be speaking Yoruba in Nassau Villa during this time. No, he's strictly English. But during the time of this one, the place is a casino enterprises.
What about Jonathan?
Jonathan also, during his own time, he felt that when they chose him, most of the eastern guys and the southern people, South were not happy with him, were not happy with Obasanjo, because they felt he should pick people like Donald Duke or Peter Odili from Rivers State.
Okay.
But Jonathan was a junior governor, deputy governor. the Alamasia, the governor had an
Yeah.
issue. He came as a governor.
Governor.
So Ibori and Co, they formed a terror upon him.
Against him.
So when he came in, he was now like a crying baby. He wanted his people to love him. And instead of that, he now
You're specifying them with
he
positions.
pacified them with position and followed the north for him, because Obasanjo took him around that he should do a single tenure. So he now formed allies with the Easterners and the North, trying to give the North everything they want. And he says,
So that I can get the second time.
West that fought for his
Emergency.
emergence,
So-
which culminated to this Senate president there, in person of
David Mark.
David Mark, to create a principle of necessity that gave him the veto, the power to become acting president there. I know all of those things were his own issues also.
Let me go to Mr. Bolaji. Mr. Shehu has actually did justice to the government of Obasanjo, and it's so clear that leadership was actually came to play, and we can know the government of Obasanjo was actually characterized with good leadership, and he took advantage of technocrats. He delved into education to make sure it balances government, and from the experience of the past. Now, what do you say about this government?
The government that followed Obasanjo followed suit, because that was the government of education, where you have a lecturer at the helms of affair. You have
both of them lecturers.
Yes, you have a professor as the deputy. So, and when you check the portfolios of the ministers, you see Professor this, Dr. that. That was Dr. Dora Akiyuli, Dr. Okoje Wiala. These are the portfolios of people that was a pure display of education. And yet it was not the best, because that was a concealing government. Everything was hidden. Nothing is open.
The cabal, we heard the cabal for the first time.
That was where it all started from. Where even the wife of the president is another powerful entity in that government. So that was a government of secrecy, and that was where the problem of cabalism started from.
Yes.
So they knew if she can do this, then any other person can make government secretive. Despite the fact that Obasanjo made it open, that government started in secrecy. Now, why Jaradua could not enjoy, though, despite his hailing nature, he could achieve economic balance was there. That was his display.
Because he's an he understood
Educationist, so he knows about economy. He knows what the citizen wanted. So his body language was even what was supporting Fashola here in the States. As I then I remember that in Nigeria there is a certain amount that you can put on some rents. You can't just hide the price of your house anyhow, knowing the fact, the kind of house you have, unlike what we have now. Everything is irrational. And that was where things were going normal until his head came and Jonathan has to come to power. That one also was an educationist, but I wouldn't say there are people that are educational illiterates. He's learned on paper, but it's not learned in leadership. So that was a pure display of incompetence, a pure display of inexperience. Let me say inexperience. Let me not say incompetence.
Cluelessness.
Yes, inexperience. It was because of inexperience that he decided to follow it's a game anyway. He's trying to play the game that let me come back, spend 10 years in power, because he has spent 6 years already. He's there another 4 to take 10 years presidency. That would be very good. I think that was his focus, and that was where he lost it. So what we have now, I don't just know.
Before we go to what we have now, the Jonathan government was not actually, the leadership was not actually in place,
it was on display.
but it's an education.
Yes.
Because I remember that in the north, it gave
education
them
without experience.
No, there's no experience in that governance. Okay, you were about, before I go to Mr. Shehu, you were about saying something about this government now.
This one, we don't even know what to say now, because what I can say we have now are just some set of Confucianists. They confuse themselves and they confuse the people. They confuse the masses. The body language we don't understand. We are fighting corruption. We don't see
We
corruption
don't
being
even
fought.
understand. Leadership is not at play.
Obasanjo incarcerated people. What we know is just that this government from day one has been after some set of people. It's a government of vengeance, revenge, witch hunting. Somebody has done this to me. I must do my own back.
So what's the character? What's actually the character of this government?
This
Is
government-
it leadership,
this
education?
This government
or-
came to power and they forgot that they are in the central government. They are still acting like when they were in opposition. Are you getting me? Now, I will talk about this. I'll leave PDP alone.
Okay.
For every grievance, for every vent, for every vituperation spoken by people, Femi Adesina, Shehu Gara, especially Femi Adesina, he attacked people. You attack. He was the one that started wailing, he has to go and hawk transformer, saying things that opposition should be saying. You are in charge. You are in power. You don't say those things again. You are no more in opposition. Femi Adesina has not seen or known that their present government is no more in opposition. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
So the character of APC is that they came to power unprepared. We thought they were prepared. They have shown us in 6 years that they are unprepared. Are you getting
Yeah.
me? They are so unprepared. That is why in the same party, they fight themselves. There is disagreement. Minister will say something.
many
Junior
court
minister will
cases.
say something.
Yes.
It has never happened during the PDP era. Upon all their impunities. And now, a lot of my problem with Nigerians is that a lot of people still believe in President Muhammadu Buhari. Well, I cannot curse our country. It's my country.
I was about saying that
Yeah.
that Nigerians voted for President Muhammadu Buhari because of belief.
Yes. Because
Believe so much in
They
him.
so much believe, they didn't put into consideration the competence, the leadership competence,
Yes.
education. Because let's go to 1984.
Yeah.
Let's look at the leadership in 1984.
the leadership in 1984, myself or you or Mr. Joshua that is here, I think we will still be a little boy there. We are not part of the government. We did not know what was happening. We are still eating. You know, Yoruba say,
Yeah.
that what does a child knows other than to eat. But we read about the government, how the economy was austere. There was austerity then.
Yeah.
Are you getting me? We knew how he was doing this the Gloria Okon cases and all of these. He was subverting justice.
But sir,
He was-
from all we read,
Yes.
it was not he was the spearhead of the government, but it was not the one that was
Yes,
functional.
he was
today
yeah,
Jagbon
but yet,
that was performing.
but yet, that was what we saw. Are you get that? Was what we read. You know, and you know, Yoruba said, "Tomodo babaton." Abaroba, and they say Aroba ni babaito. Now Buhari is coming for the second time. Buhari is in second, has come back the second time. Coming back for the third time, Buhari has only showed us that what we read when we were a little child is
true.
still the same
Well,
thing.
actually,
Is true.
right.
And a lot of people are still taking brief for him.
That's my question now. Now, what the people say in him that make him to believe in him for coming again?
Because
The truth was that it was not Buhari's integrity that won that election for him. People never believed in Buhari.
Okay.
But because they believed he has gained some things from the body movement of today, they are gone. Now, and because of some sectional people and support. Now, what actually helped Buhari was not Buhari's integrity.
Because if
it
it
was
was
that
his
it was the
integrity
merger.
that
You know,
helped him.
yes. ACN as a party is a party that is going megas at that time, and ACN was doing marvelously well in Lagos State.
Okay.
To be candid with you,
Yeah.
there is a template that Bola Ahmed
I
Tinubu
know that.
has set in place, and that template was working perfectly. So they believe that if Lagos could run and work well, then everything should work according to plan. Thinking that Tinubu carrying Buhari along will be able to dictate some things in the government, not knowing that Buhari is a man of his words.
All right. We'll soon go on break, but when we come back from the break, I want us to discuss what did Buhari, what did he sell to Tinubu or APC, ACN, and make them to actually believe that it can be the president and the choice Nigeria is looking for? Because there's something you must have brought to the table for them to have agreed to for him to become the president. In case you are just joining us, this Let's Discuss It, where we address national and international issues that affect every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development. Tonight we are discussing education, leadership, belief, and governance. What competence do people have to consider before they choose their leaders? We're going on break now. After the break, we'll come back with other discussions. Welcome back. You're welcome to Let's Discuss It. In case you are joining us now, this is Let's Discuss It, where we address critical national and international issues that affect every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development. My name is Wale Agboola. I have with me the studio this evening Mr. Sheon Oduwole and Mr. Bolaji Joshua. We are discussing what competence do we need to consider before we choose our leaders. See leadership skill, see education, is it belief, or the experience in governance. Mr. Bolaji, before we went on break, you were actually discussing something very important, and I want us to go into it. What did I think CPC, Buhari was in CPC.
Yes.
What did Buhari, what did he sell to other parties that make them to believe that is the choice of the people?
Now, when you look at that as at 2003, the strongest opposition against the PDP was the CPC. And it was not because of, it was because of the northern strengths.
Okay.
The northerners were beginning to pitch their tent away from the PDP because they believe that the Jonathan administration is no longer favoring them. So they pitch their tent now with their arrowhead from Katsina. That this one is a northerner. It has become a game of let us play it against.
I think that same
southerners.
time was when Atiku Abubakar
Yes,
on the platform of
ACN. So as at that time, and because of those crises there, so they believe that the only thing that can work in 2011 is just to have the this cohesion, this merger in 2015
against
so,
PDP.
Yes, as at 2011, that the problem is beginning to build up as at the time of fuel scarcity, fuel subsidy, and the fight against let's bring it down. So they were thinking that, okay, if we can garner efforts this way, come against this government and campaign massively for a change in price of fuel, then we have to merge.
So what did he actually?
So it was because as at that time, the most popular candidate after the government in power is General Muhammadu Buhari. So they now think, okay, they thought it wise that let us fly this candidate to fly the northern tickets.
I think, Mr. Sheon, then it was the shout of change.
Yeah,
I think that was what they sold to the people.
Is not even why the ACN leadership, the MAGA, chose Muhammadu Buhari, President Muhammadu Buhari, if I must say. So some people who has been calling Major General Muhammadu Buhari, but I would call him President Muhammadu Buhari. Now, the antecedents of Muhammadu Buhari, the short-lived 1984 regime, what they did with Idi Agbon, then to the PTF, what he did to the north with the PTF money, he did a lot of things in the north, and all of the time he did all of these things, people believe he never owned big houses, companies, like all the ones that have been in that place. That was what earned him that saintly look.
People believe.
That is the same, because nobody will have been a minister of petroleum, nobody will have become an head of state, then nobody will be an entity under a regime of Sani Abacha as a PTF with an autonomy, and yet he's not even having a house in Lekki. He's not having a houses in choice areas of Abuja. All of those things culminate in making people to believe Muhammad Buhari is a saint. As at that time, I can emphatically say Muhammad Buhari was a man that lived a Spartan life. He's not a man of frivolities. Are you getting me?
Okay.
But there is one thing I see with Muhammadu Buhari. This is what Hausa will call Ferejini, white blood. You just see people, you like them. And that won him that larger foot soldier. Buhari contested in 2011 under AMPP. Contested against
ANPP.
Obasanjo.
Yeah.
I remember when they called Buhari, because the people that were there were Rochas Okrocha, the Oyi of Oyi, what's his name? Chuba Okadigbo, Adamu Chiroma or Chinkafi, whatever. When they imposed Buhari on them, instead of Muhammadu Buhari to say these are our people, are good people, we work together, we work with them, the first statement Muhammadu Buhari said was those guys that left the podium are subversive elements. They can go anywhere and practice their subversiveness. From that day, I said, this man needs to be checked. Another time I remember, Muhammadu Buhari, again, at the time of the election, when the campaign was, he was the first person that says, he told them, and I can quote it, he said, let Christian vote for Christian, let Muslim vote for Muslim. Believing that if he used religion aspect, the North will win Obasanjo in 2003. That was a very wrong statement. But then, the people forgave Buhari. As at the time of the merger, he contested against Jonathan again through CPC. It was a very close election. He lost. Jonathan won. But then, after the merger, the only person they could choose, election is won by numbers, and you must have a candidate, a sellable candidate. Buhari is the only one, someone that has contested against every of the four presidents, should be the best candidate. And I think that was why the ACN formed a merger and chose him, because he was a sellable candidate there. Not because that we have not seen that Buhari has shown us that there are some
incompetence.
Errors and incompetence from his 1984, even, and all of these things I've been saying, we've not, but yet we believe he has changed. He must have learned his lesson, but we forgot that a leopard does not change his skin.
All right. From that, I want to pick it up and say, now, don't you think that's the reason for the problem of this nation now? We just believe, and the problem I have with believers, they believe everything.
Yes.
They just believe. They are just believers. They believe anything. Maybe what have been sold to them, they don't ask questions. They are not ready to make inquiries or do background check. Now, don't you think just mere believing that President Muhammadu Buhari is the only sellable candidate at that time is what is bringing us? Because if you have to consider insecurity in this nation, I can't a second to none, as in as far as I'm concerned, all the sectors, with what is happening in Edo now, Obaseki and Isaiah, because of the election, don't you think that is the reason? Just because we believe?
Yes, the problem with our political system today is belief. Like I've said, it's because we believe whatever that is being told to us. We never care to check.
That's why they will come and say the same thing over and over again.
Since I know somebody that is in government, so whatever that have been said is the right thing. And that somebody that knows somebody that I know in government will in turn come back to bring something to that somebody, to bring to somebody that will get to me. So, and with that belief, with that mindset, our political system has been set back. You can discover that from 1999 to date, we kept comparing the government to one another.
Yeah.
The government kept the dividends of democracy kept dwindling, kept dwindling, and like that. Though even if there's economic boost because of telecommunication, but yet the dividends kept dwindling. The masses are no longer feeling it. Only the few that has been ruling us from 1969 are still in power.
Whose fault is that?
The masses, our fault, because of our belief, because of our inadequate education.
We don't know what they're actually doing. We don't have information.
And we never decide to ask questions.
We are just left with whatever they tell us.
Yes.
Is what we believe.
Yes.
I think I can differ on that. The elite are a problem. The
Okay.
masses are not learned. The few learned ones are docile. They don't have God. And look at this regime. If you went out your anger, you'll be picked. Now they've increased the age speech from 500,000 to 5 million. What are they doing? This present government enjoyed all of those speech, and those speech made them to get to where they are. But the moment they get there, because they are so liver, they cannot withstand pressure. What did they come up with? They came up with something to block our voice so that we don't talk. It's the same thing. It will not work because this is the same thing they enjoyed. Nobody stopped them. Even as some people believe that Abacha is so tough, Abacha never did this. Even when they do it in an underground too, but they did not.
So I call them the luckiest government because they don't have opposition.
Yes.
They don't have opposition.
If is sleeping,
They have.
after they want to collect it, they want to collect.
Yes, that's what they plan. And it cannot work.
It's not thrown
things
at them.
are not getting
Nobody
done like
will
that.
throw it to them. They have to work for it. They are sleeping. Ologbodiyan will not talk.
Kola Ologbodiyan, what does he know? Does he know anything?
You cannot compare Kola Ologbodiyan.
He does not have any information about the government in
Lai
place.
Muhammad, when Lai Muhammad was in opposition.
Do you know
they are not-
the funny
they
thing,
are
sir?
not comparable.
It is still the same party that brings out their own information that even the opposition cannot work on. It is very, very. It's unheard of
No,
that
maybe
a party is making
no,
mistake nationally
we'll put
and
it-
an opposition
I-
cannot even say anything.
I can put it this way. Maybe PDP people are so soiled their hand that when they talk, they'll be picked. So they are using wisdom. That's what I would say. Because if not,
Of course.
I do not see any reason why they cannot stand out.
All right.
And
I like that point that we got to now, the point of opposition. But before we go into opposition, I want to, you said you differ from what he said the other time, that the elites are the problem. And I remember, was it last week that we discussed that they actually make the masses that way? They intentionally program the masses that way. Now, shouldn't we wake up now? And was it on Monday or Tuesday? I was watching on social media the protest of the revolution now.
Oh, yeah.
And I was listening to Bajalingo. He was speaking and he said that the police that we are fighting for, they don't have an economy of their own. They don't have a system of their own.
They don't even know.
What they are fighting, they are the same set of people that they will use to come and disperse them.
They don't know.
Now, it's not only the law enforcement agencies, even the masses.
Yes.
They are using masses against masses.
Yes.
What some people are fighting, you won't be surprised. What we are discussing this evening, some people like us will be going against us.
Do you know what was funny, sir? As at the time, Akpabio was in the National Assembly for questioning, some youth were outside shouting that they want him.
Exactly.
They were protesting for Akpabio already. What kind of youth do we have in this nation?
I think the problem is with that revolution now, much as it looks so good to so many Nigerians, the only down part of it was that Showore contested for the election.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's doing revolution now. Though his own revolution is not that they should carry him and begin to shoot. Revolution against bad government, against unemployment, against bad leadership, bad economy, bad everything bad, insecurity bad. But because Showore was seen in America with Yellow Boy Nnamdi Kanu, after that one ran away and they did some meeting, he now came back after he lost the election. Only that killed the
Revolution now.
Are you getting me?
Yeah.
So calculated people they don't want to attach themselves. Had it been Showore did not contest that election, and he told his line. I tell you, I will be part of it. But the federal government with all the laws are saying that Showore contested an election. He lost an election. He's not doing revolution now. No, no, no. Even if I'm the president, if I have done bad, I think I'll do the same
Same
thing.
thing.
That's
Are you getting me?
that's
So
felony.
I think if they want this thing, they should get another name and take this thing away from Showore. Let another person come. And then they will get a lot of food. But with Showore in that thing, it will not go away. And I cannot be stupid to follow a path that I've seen that is already dented.
Yes.
Well, I want us to discuss another point this evening. I want us to discuss the point of the Minister of Niger Delta, Godswill Akpabio, and the National Assembly probe. I discovered that when Akpabio came on board for the question to the National Assembly, he came up with some competencies. Let me call it. It was actually
And confidence.
And confidence. And the table turned. It changed the story.
Yeah.
What competence they
Akpabio-
The fact is this: Akpabio is a brilliant man, and he's an assertive man. So to everything he does, is a hunter. You don't understand. When a hunter shoots, he will trail. So as Akpabio is shooting in the National Assembly, he's trailing. So he knows them. They know each other. They are colleagues. So this is what they are into together. Why do you think Akpabio left PDP for APC before he was made? He contested for Senate seats because he left PDP, he lost, and he was made a minister. Why do you think that was in place? Because he has met with the powers that be, and the powers that be believed in him. They gave him a ministerial position. So the belief they have in him is still working for them. So he's still towing their lines that, okay, this thing, you said I should come and answer questions on it. But do not forget that if you want to make my question in public, then I will have to make my answers to you too public. So it was this same National Assembly that we shared.
You know what surprised me? I'm coming, Mr. Ashim. What surprised me is that he successfully and turned the table.
Mr. Akpabio is a smart talker. Are you getting me?
And I'm sure those people
Mr.
also know.
Akpabio is a two-term performing governor. If you have been to Uyo during the time of Victor Bongata, he did little work. Nobody has done woefully. I always mention that. But Akpabio to me turned Akwa Ibom around.
Yes.
All of the jobs, most majority of the job are 80% Julius Berger, up to local government, not Uyo as state capital. I tell you, if you go to Iko Rupene, you'll be thinking you're in Uyo already. As at that time, you know this is not Uyo, this is Iko Rupene. You have to board the bus back and begin to die just to show you the extent of his work. Akpabio is the best person that Muhammad Buhari should have given that NDDCC. But to my surprise, Nigerian politicians will still default. I don't know why he was trying to please some people against his credentials.
Is he running a program written for him by the party?
We cannot say. No, the people that had the money, some of them were PDP. There were about 6 senators mentioned there. Nwabushi, Jesmanja, and I cannot remember, Olubumi Ojo, and all of those. 3 PDP, 3 APC. No, it is a party team. You know, at the level of where they are sharing money, they don't do
party.
They don't
There's no
do
party there.
No, there's no party.
There's no party affair there.
Wait till you go get
It's-
from here.
it's
It's
about
just on the
money
religious
affair.
aspect too. On that side too, they don't do religion. They are brothers. But when it comes to money, when it comes to money, they are brothers. It's only when they want to use the masses against each other, they
That you
bring
see
party.
religion,
And they
you
bring
see party.
religion. As at today breaking, they asked Peter Obaweshi to return the 2.2 billion for plastic chair he collected the money to buy. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
So Akpabio for me is a person I check his work and I liked him. Though maybe he overbloated contract. Every state governor does that. Nobody can tell me anything. For you, for how much is your salary? As where you are working as a lawyer, I'm talking to Babatobe Fashola as a lawyer. How much was their salary as a lawyer? How much of all of those jobs did they do that they pay them in 10 millions?
Even school organizations now
their salary
are overbloating
as
contracts.
as a minister that will make them to have some of those properties and some of the cash they have. We are not going to go into detail because we don't have the proof. But as an human being, as a size of you are, how much are you earning to own a house in Banana Island? To any of them, how much are you earning to own choice house? What 600 million, 800 million? As we cannot continue doing this thing to ourselves.
All right. In case you are just joining us, let's discuss it, where we address critical national and international issues that affect every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development. And we are discussing this evening what competence do we need in choosing our leaders? Is it education? Is it leadership skill? Is it belief and government or governance experience? And to an extent, this night we have we really have come to a point of this discussion that we have to see the Obasanjo regime, we can see leadership in display, and Jonathan, we can see education, and in this present government, we can see belief, and can see how our belief or the belief of people is actually failing them or disappointing them, or they are disappointed, because many people actually that campaign for this present government are actually regretting they did that and are saying, well, that is belief. Well, after the break, we are going to discuss some other issues that affect our life. We're going on break now. Thank you. You're welcome back. This is Let's Discuss It with Wale Agboola. I want to welcome you back into this discussion, and this is where we address critical national issues, discussing what competence do we consider in choosing our leaders. Mr. Bolaji, you brought up a point, that belief brought this government into power, and they sold belief to the people, and people believed. The shout then was change, and the
Up to
expectation
this
was high.
moment, there
Up
is
to
still
this
belief.
moment, okay.
Up to this very present morning,
Yeah.
there is still belief. Because if not for belief, you cannot see billions of naira being wasted like that, billions or in dollars being wasted like that, Ponday fainting, and yet people do not have anything to say against, opposition do not have anything to say against the government, even the party members. It is not even, I'm not talking about loyal party members now.
Okay.
I'm talking about the masses party members.
The foot soldiers,
Still
the
do
spanners
not,
and
yes,
the tools.
still do not have anything to say to correct the anomaly.
They still believe.
They still believe that one day President Muhammadu Buhari will still turn things around.
But I can tell you categorically that if you check the insecurity issues has undermined the love and the every white blood's love people had for Muhammadu Buhari. You can see yesterday a lot of protests. They protested in Katsina, his home state, more than 3 or 4 times now. A lot of guys have done a lot of protests in Katsina, and some of them were picked by military personnel. They got billed later, they released them. Are you getting me? But I can tell you that as at now, that insecurity issue has decreased his game plan. Are you getting me? To the end, yes, it's reducing daily. And I can tell you that if it continues like this, forget all of those people that used to support him. Most of those people are the ones living in the southwest. Be it Yoruba, be it Igbo, be it Hausa.
Because of their chances.
They are not seeing those things those people are seeing. If you are someone like me, I do travel a lot. But now, travel care, no, I think twice. I love traveling, but it doesn't cost me. If I see flight, I try. If I see road, I don't fear. But since this government came in fact, since 2017, I've
Kidnapping on the rise, terrorism on the rise, everything on the rise.
My family, my friends knew that I don't fear traveling. Traveling by road, by night is my best, aside traveling by air. Are you getting me? I don't fear anywhere. But now, tell me now, I will tell you I'm not traveling. Even with flights, I will still be scared. I want to check everything that concerns the state where I'm going to, all of those things. But before, it's not like that. Buhari has lost all of those credence. And if Buhari by 2003 lift my hands up, or you anyway, will not win election. Beat anybody that is trying to come from the southwest. Anybody beat, except they fix this issue. If they did not fix this issue, that person cannot win. The person, they know themselves, they cannot win. Because the northern people are angry with them. Because they are killing them every day. Look at Southern Kaduna. Look at the kidnapping in the
They
south.
cannot even go to their farms, and
People cannot farm, and all of this. How much are they selling yam now? For the first time since I was born, yam is now something that people cannot buy anywhere again.
A tuber is 1,200.
Yam. Damn, that you buy
1,200.
you buy like 7 for 1,000. You are now buying 1 tuber of yam. Yam is now a gold. Why? Because people cannot go to farm again.
Beans too. Everything
From,
expensive.
from my experience, I discovered this is the way people talk and get angry against government and political parties, the ruling parties.
Yeah.
But to my surprise, you discover that the same party will still win the election.
Yes.
So what is happening?
That boils down to our political system and our electoral system. Our electoral system is so weak and poor that it does not support opposition. People believe so much in we are there. So the moment we are there,
Let him continue.
we must win.
The people say
Jonathan was so reluctant, and he said his re-election does not want the blood of any Nigerian.
it's a
But there are some
world-class
people,
statement.
they don't care. Yes, but Baba Sojo is one of the people that does not care. But because he's a man that gives room for rule of law, unlike what we have now, there is no rule of law, only kitchen cabinets. That's what we have. Whatever they want done, all they need to do is to call the Attorney General. I want this done within the concept of the law. They will go and bring the law that will. If the law does not exist, they will write it today into the Constitution. And it will be because what do we have? We have an assembly that is being dictated to. They are not representing anybody. They're representing themselves.
Now, for the assembly, today or yesterday, I saw it. Those guys, the Boko Haram guys that went to so many villages, they have killed so many people, that killed Lieutenant Colonel Abu Ali and co. Gallant soldiers. They've destroyed all of them. Wasted their money. You said they are repentant Boko Haram. The present president is trying to do one thing, and they want to send them abroad to go and school. Now, the people they displaced, the question is for them: have they sent any of those kids? All of them in the in Borno, in Yobe, have they sent any of them abroad? These people, they kill their father, they kill their mother, and they are now saying they should take them back to the community. The people say no, they should go to the villa or government house. No, they say you must take them back, because if you don't take them back now, they will.
Even some of them are being recruited into the army.
The army has even denied that. I take it. I take their word.
I want to,
because I know that if they take them, some of them will.
I want us to pause there.
I
This message is for you that you are watching me, watching us, the masses. That your choice of leaders, when you're making your mind to choose your leader, you should consider these things very well. Is it what you believe in the leader that will bring about good governance, or the leadership skill, or education, or the experience the person have in governance? Listen, the impact or the effect of bad governance is not on the government. Is the masses, the people at the receiving end. So when you are making your choice for leaders and leadership in governance, you should know what you are doing and we want to vote for. It's not about, like we said last week, we have just two political parties in Nigeria as at now. We have the elites and the masses. So if you are one of the masses in any of the political party, you are vulnerable. You should know who you want to vote for. And the message is so clear. Belief has brought us to where we are. And we still believe that belief will take us forward. All right. I want us to, because we have a few minutes to go. Before we go, let's quickly talk about what the drama that is happening in Edo. Just a few minutes to go. What can you say about the drama
it's so
Edo?
unfortunate that I can tell you, Mr. Baseki is a graduate of a school in Nigeria, and
The Premier University.
Premier University for that matter. I think is so unfortunate. For me, if I'm in their shoes, I will play a better tactics than that shenanigans, that type of crude method. It's a crude method. It's not a good way. Those type of people are the one that when you fight them or they needed a post, if there are chances that it will be covered, they don't know how to outwit someone. They will just kill you, then they will take it. It's a crude way. It's a crude way.
So
It's so
I guess it
unfortunate.
should be obvious to the electorate in the
It's-
state
it's
now
so
that
unfortunate.
these people are not fighting for them, but fighting their own cause. The electorate should be wise enough to know that their opinion does not count with the government in place and the government that is coming. So I will other advise that instead of them watching the display of party, same side of a coin, they should choose someone that is probably neutral. Labour Party is there for them. Any other party is there for them. I'm not campaigning for any other party here. They should just pick a neutral candidate to rescue them from this.
Do you think
misdemeanor.
other parties have chances in Edo? Now the present government in Edo is now PDP. Now the federal might is APC. Do you think they will allow other parties to breathe?
The truth I was
The people are their own problem.
yes.
They don't know that they have the power of the voters' card.
Please, I want you to say that again so that we can educate.
The
If you are
people-
watching us from
Our
Edo,
people
listen.
are their own
Problem.
The voters' card is your power. Before Jonathan Buhari, we say, I cannot remove Ikuben. At the governorship, it happened. Or Chemole to remove someone. This one, remove someone. Now it happened at the presidency. But yet, they will still tell you that our vote don't count. For me, since 2015, that Muhammadu Buhari beat Goodluck Jonathan, I tell them, it has happened. It can happen again. Vote wisely.
Vote wisely. All right.
Vote wise.
All right. Thank you for watching us this evening. This is Let's Discuss It with Wale Agboola, where we address critical national and international issues that affect every aspect of human, social, and spiritual development. When you are choosing your leaders, wherever you are, make sure you consider the following factors. Make sure the leadership is in place, education is in place. Also, belief is also important. Then governance, experience in governance is important. However, you have the power to choose your own leader. Leaders, they don't force themselves on you. That is why they will always come to you during a campaign to come and tell you campaign promises, and they leave into your hands to make your own choice and decision. If you are complaining about the government of the day, that means you have not chosen wisely or you have not voted wisely. So if you are watching us from Edo State, the message for you now is shine your eyes and vote wisely. And for every one of us in Nigeria and outside Nigeria, the responsibility of choosing your own leader is rest on you. I remember some years ago, a man of God, a great man of God, asked another great man of God that, sir, you are not talking about the leadership problem in this nation. And the man of God told him that leadership is not the problem of this nation, it's followership. Now, if they ask armed robbers to choose leaders for themselves, will they choose police? They won't choose police. Most of the time, you want to choose somebody that you will benefit from. And that's why the adverse is the case. You are not benefiting from them, you are only suffering. So the message tonight to all the masses is that choose wisely. The power to choose your leader is in your hands. And thank you for watching us. Thank you, Mr. Shem, for coming. Thank you for Bolaji for coming. Please follow us on YouTube at Wale Agboola 24, and on Facebook Wale Agboola 24, on Periscope Wale Agboola 24, on Twitter, all the social media is Wale Agboola 24. We sincerely apologize once again for starting late today. It's 6 p.m. every Friday, and I want to assure you that we'll always address issues that will benefit your life. As we close tonight, make sure you take responsibility of yourself and be responsible. Achieve success. Bye for now.